Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. She was kind, gentle, and had a heart as pure as gold. Sadly, after her mother passed away, her father remarried a woman who had two daughters of her own. But these stepsisters and stepmother were selfish and cruel, treating Cinderella as their servant. Cinderella was forced to do all the chores in the house, cook, clean, and tend to every need of her stepfamily while they lived a life of luxury. Despite the hardship, Cinderella remained kind and hopeful, finding solace in the company of the animals in the household, who loved her dearly. One day, the king of the land announced a grand ball to be held at the palace, inviting all the eligible maidens in the kingdom. The purpose of the ball was for the prince to choose a bride and future queen. Cinderella's stepsisters were thrilled and spent days preparing their finest dresses and jewelry to attend the royal ball. As the day of the ball approached, Cinderella could not help but dream of going too. However, her stepmother had other plans and forbid her from attending, stating that she was nothing more than a servant and didn't belong in such grand affairs. Feeling dejected, Cinderella retreated to the garden, where her tears were heard by a shimmering figure, her fairy godmother. With a wave of her wand, she transformed Cinderella's ragged dress into a magnificent gown, and her old, worn-out shoes into beautiful glass slippers. "Go, my dear," said the fairy godmother with a warm smile. "You shall go to the ball, but remember, the magic will fade at midnight." Overwhelmed with gratitude, Cinderella thanked her fairy godmother and set off to the palace in a dazzling carriage pulled by mice turned into horses, and a pumpkin transformed into a magnificent coach. At the palace, Cinderella captivated everyone with her beauty and grace, including the prince. As they danced, they felt an instant connection, and the prince couldn't take his eyes off her. They laughed and talked, and for a brief moment, all worries seemed to vanish. But as the clock struck midnight, Cinderella remembered the warning and hurriedly left the palace, leaving one of her glass slippers behind in her haste. By the time she reached home, she was once again in rags, but her heart was filled with the magic of the night. The next day, the prince was determined to find the mysterious girl who had stolen his heart. He had fallen in love with Cinderella and couldn't forget her. He decided to visit every house in the kingdom, having every maiden try on the glass slipper, as it was the only clue he had. When the prince arrived at Cinderella's house, her stepsisters tried desperately to fit into the delicate slipper, but it was too small for them. Cinderella's stepmother, hoping for riches and a higher status, even locked Cinderella away to prevent her from trying on the slipper. But fate had other plans. Cinderella managed to escape and tried on the glass slipper, which fit perfectly. The prince recognized her instantly and was overjoyed. He swept her off her feet, and they confessed their love for each other. With the prince's admiration for Cinderella's kindness and courage, he asked her to be his bride, and she gladly accepted. The kingdom rejoiced at their union, and Cinderella forgave her stepfamily, sharing her newfound happiness with them. And so, Cinderella, once a mistreated servant, became the beloved princess of the kingdom, living happily ever after with her prince, surrounded by love and kindness, and proving that a pure heart can make dreams come true.